Lepper. Danger, distress rest heavy upon the scales, their measure soaring on a dangerous march to Dresden. Army moves steadily along the bank of the West Selen, scared with canyons and ravines. Suddenly, a group of scouts return. Anivia, the leader of the group, makes the urgent signs to the soldiers. Wait and quiet. She dashes through the ranks. The commander who awaits a report, we're in trouble. The road ahead is split by a canyon. To get to Dresden, we'll have to go down and then open the other side. Canyon is swarming with foul creatures, Vescavors, a real pain in the neck. They won't shy away from our soldiers' weapons. They already managed to gobble someone up. Looked like a caravan of refugees from Kenabres that's lost its way. No one ever reported Vescavors so far from the center of the world won't. Where did they come from? They still haven't noticed us, but I won't hold true for long. Maybe if we retreat. Commander makes a sign for her to stop. Find out what else is known about the enemy. Convene a council to determine a plan. Find out. Those nasty little critters, they can ruin your gear and drive you nuts with their buzzing. They got a queen, the mother of whole swarm. She's a right horror. If we kill her, the bulk of the swarm will scatter. We'll take care of the rest of them somehow. Convene a council. Commander and companions convene a field council. The army cannot march around the obstacle, for there is no road. Retreat is far too risky. Should the swarm notice the army and catch it out in the open, no one would survive. None utters the word threat, but fear hangs in the air. A swarm of omnivorous beasts just happens to be in the army's path. Someone has arranged this for their own nefarious ends. Rustling, gratting, squeaking, humming. Everyone hears the voice of the swarm, though the sky before the army remains clear for now. How long until it is darkened by the flying spawn of the abyss? An idea, a decision, straight and sharp like a soldier's sword, appears in their minds. The Crusader Council grows grim. One unit must act as a live bait to lure the swarm out of the canyon and clear the path to the Vescavor Queen. Commander will rush the monster, killing her quickly before the swarm decimates the army. They will get but one chance. A dark question looms: who will lead the faithful squad and be consumed as a bait? Fuck. In moments of extreme stress, one often says one thing while meaning quite another. These hidden words often reveal many curious things. And what do we see here? Iribak nobly states, I'm an officer best suited for the mission. But in truth she means I cannot burden another with my responsibility. Nura, the historian, emerges with an unexpected suggestion from behind the commander's back. This is just the sort of situation where ingenuity and knowledge of the enemy will be more useful than swords and armor. While she speaks, she thinks, I need to prove myself. The queen has yet to disclose her presence and watches quietly from a distance. Commander thinks that he should look into the faces of companions. The Hell Knight Regiel steps forward. My people will fight to the last, even as the swarm tears through our armor and strips the flesh from our bones. I think Regiel has the best chances to survive this. My superiority over the Crusaders will not permit me to cover behind them. I've eaten so many bugs in my life, it's only fair to give them a chance at revenge. Now, Len, we need you. The ones who distract the swarm will need a healer. We don't need a cleric, though. Social is the only one who speaks plainly. A healer might bring a few through the Vescavors alive. The rest of the council remains silent, and this silence is filled with a chorus. The others better suited, and the commander needs me alive. Though is the commander here? These unspoken words, what will they lead him to decide? The faithful troop will be led by Irabet, Nura, Regiel, Len, or we need Len, he's out. Regiel could go well here. Our cleric is useless. I don't know why Nura is an option here, and I believe Irabet will die if I go for Irabet. I'm gonna go with Social. The commander and his party disappear among the rocks, preparing to slip down into the canyon while the swarm is distracted by their bait. A tight-lipped Anivia shows the way. Behind them, the final preparations are being made. Social's eyes grow cloudy for a moment. There are few creatures as abominable for a follower of Shaling as Vescavors. Devourers of flesh and destroyers of matter. This trial will not be easy. The soldiers tread fearfully down the road toward the dark edge of the canyon ahead. A rift that yawns open before them whispers, rasps, rattles in thousands upon thousands of voices. Vescavors gather below. But the sky is open above them and the flying creatures might rise up and attack at any moment. Soldiers soon find the first body, the mangled corpse of a refugee from Kenebres. A few straggling Vescavors wriggle inside the dead man's gaping chest. Tiny larvae in greenish shells and shuffling legs and hinking jaws, they don't seem menacing at all. But then the rasping noise stops for a moment and a high vibrating note pierces the air with a new force. A blur of blackish green cloud rises above the canyon. The swarm has taken the bait. The time to act has come. The leader of this fateful squad shouts that they shall scatter. Hold position and fight for the soul. Hold position and fight. Standing in the middle of formation of soldiers, Social utters a prayer to Shaylin. From the outside it would appear that the cloud of Vescavors will in a moment fall from above and destroy their forces utterly. Hundreds of spawns of the abysm gnaw on bodies and armor, destroying as they consume, but the cleric's power flows forth in waves, healing the wounds of his comrades. As if understanding who is to blame for the unexpected resistance, the spawn covers Social like a living carpet. The servant of Shaylin trembles, but does not move or hold his prayers. Soldiers look on with awe, though they're witnessing a holy miracle. Temporary success holds no true hope for the faithful truth. Their foe is no great beast, but a million ravenous creatures, bringing with them the eternal hunger of the abyss. To fight them was to cry upon the wind. Their only hope was to rely on their commander, and hope that he was preparing to slay the swarm queen. What was happening down in the canyon at that very moment? I think I made the right choice. I really think I made the right choice. God damn, I need to listen to freaking insects in the entire map. What happens if I choose, for example, I don't know, Regil? Or someone like that. This is for Social, I wanna see what changes, but I think that's the right choice. To put a cleric over there. I really think so. We're gonna speed it up. Pick Regil. The face of Paralictor Regil is hidden by his... And Dorino, thanks for the follow. Rabbi, what's up? Lich is unplayable. Play him in 2 years from now. Nah. But all DLCs are out and the game is fully patched. Can companions die in the event? We're gonna find out. The face of Paralictor Regiel is hidden by his helm, as are the faces of his troops. Hell Knights can radiate disdain even through plate armor. They march forward boldly, holding torches and vials of acid in a place of blades. Soldiers tread fearfully down the road towards the dark edge of the canyon ahead. That will be the option for Regiel. Fight to the bitter end. Arrogance plays a cruel joke on Paralictor of the Hell Knights as he prepares to fulfill his promise to stand firm, so they can die, even as the swarm tears the flesh from our bones. These are precisely the orders he's given to his troops. The swarm falls upon them like a raging storm. Hell Knights are better armored than regular soldiers, and some are even wearing adamantium. Some have vials of acid which can wound and deter Vescavors for a time. The beasts are beyond numbers, so many that they cannot find openings in the armor and wriggle their way inside. While one insect is burned with acid, 5 others circle and strike. A moment later, Regiel troops are a living graveyard, his knights buried under a layer of wriggling and buzzing bit, so you can make a mistake. I believe that Cleric is the safest option. We're gonna test them all, just so we see what's happening. Cause even without gameplay, this is fun. Okay, they made it well. The rasping, mumbling, and buzzing of the swarm paralyzed the soldier's will. Poisonous mandibles cut through armor and bone. The swarm could scour an entire city from the face of Golarion. His modest forces present no obstacle. No matter what strategy the mortal shows, it is impossible to resist the eternal hunger of the abyss. Vescavors are its embodiment. No malevolent mind or terrible monster, but a million of half-sentient creatures who know no goal but destruction. An effective weapon for those prepared to trade fertile soil for wasteland. A chance yet remains for the commander to save his people, at least some portion. What will the leader decide? Well, I can't believe it. And there are 5 options, and 2 options for each one, which means you got 10 fucking options. What if I pick Regiel and help him out? Allow the swarm to attack few victims then strike. What happens then instead of fight to the bitter end? Allow the swarm to attack a few victims then strike. Regiel selects a few of his knights who wear the strongest adamantine armor and sends them forward. Those chosen fighters approach the edge of the canyon with cavalier dispassion, inviting the swarm to fall upon them and cover them like a living carpet. The first of them falls immediately. In a fit of terrible screaming, the Vescavors have found their way through the visor of his helm and are drilling inside one by one, consuming the unlucky man's face. But the next moment, the remaining forces surge forward, closing their distance and throwing vials of acid on insects. The swarming cloud thins slightly, the Hell Knights retreat and regroup, each time throwing their best protected warriors into the path of the swarm attacks. The other soldiers watch their masterful work with admiration, sending up cheers of encouragement. Temporary success holds no true hope for the faithful troop. Their foe is no great beast, but a million ravenous creatures bringing with them the eternal hunger of the abyss. What was happening down in the canyon at the very moment? We don't know what happened. It seems like Regiel can survive with the second option, and he's definitely dead with the first option. I still believe Social is the best way to go. I wanna try that little... whatever she is. Scribe. Nura. Fight to the bitter end and scatter. Here's what we'll do. We'll approach the precipice, stomping and banging our swords against our shields. We'll get the swarm's attention as quickly as possible. The soldiers tread fearfully down the road. The soldiers fight to the bitter end. Scatter. Scatter. Nura, swift and fleet, is splendid at the chase. Dodging from place to place, diving into inconspicuous cracks between stones, she gracefully avoids Vescavors. But her soldiers are not as nimble, and their armor not but burden. The whispering, screeching song of extraplanar Vescavors clouds the mind and foils an escape from the creature's jaws. Warriors fall one by one, screaming in pain, while their friends scattered across the area are too far away to aid them. Cries of agony rise up from the rocks, filling the soldiers' hearts with horror. Rasping, mumbling, buzzing, swarm paralyze the soldiers' will. She's a bad choice. It seems like I was right, Cleric is the best choice for this shit. I don't know who is left. Paladin is left. We test Irabet, but I believe Irabet also dies. What can a Paladin do against the Swarm? Nothing. It makes no sense. We got Irabet, Len. What happens with Len? Thinking upon what you just learned about Vescavors, Len orders his squad to remove their armor. It won't protect them from the beasts, but it will affect their speed and stealth. Okay, Len seems like the smartest one. They hesitate. Who is he to dish out orders to veteran crusaders? The discipline raised and they roughly fall behind them. They found the first body, blah blah blah. The time to fight it a bit, maneuver and use cover. To the demons with this, one of the soldiers yells as he turns tail. I'm not going to let some mongrel lead me to Len is a bad option, goddammit. And lead me to my death. Given into panic, 3 more follow him. Len never gets a chance to say a word before the clouds forming overhead stretches out a tentacle of 1,000 of twisting Vescavors. They descend upon the first of the fleeing soldiers, swiftly clean his bones. Len manages to kick another fleeing man into a tight crevice before Vescavors get him too. They're nearly upon his heels even as the main mass of the swarm hangs in the air, ready to fall. The insects turn and attack another victim, but the mongrel rolls away and yells to his soldiers, "Follow me. Everyone who survives can personally punch my scaly snout." He dashes through the labyrinth of stones and cracks and little caves, a line of soldiers in tow. Rallying on their speed and stealth, they leap up, then duck and hide again, luring the swarm away from the canyon. The cave dweller turns out to be much better at this deadly game than the ravenous swarm of Vescavors. Lan's heroism and skill inspire other soldiers to bravely join. Ooh, you're a good choice. We got a temporary success with Len, and we got a temporary success with a cleric. With Socio. But I need Len. I can't play without Len. So it's gonna be Social, we don't need Socio. All we need to do now is see Irabet and how she fares. You gotta love it. I mean, for one, it's not even a quest. To enter the map, you got 10 fucking solutions of how you wanna do it. Just to enter the map. 10 choices to pick from. Now we pick Irabet. Let's see what Paladin does. Irabet looks over the volunteers who will follow her on this most dangerous of missions. Focused yet calm, she lays out their offensive, grateful for the chance to face true danger instead of boring office work. Is this driven by bravery or blind conceit? They tread carefully. They find the first body. There is fight and scatter. Irabet is a bad choice, I can already tell. Fight to the bitter end. Vescavors fall from the sky onto the huddled troops. Irabet's eyes flashes, the first soldier screams in pain. She is near enough to heal her companion's wounds and clenches his shoulder. Hold on. She cries, but her voice is drowned in a wave of whispering, rasping Vescavors descending upon the troops. There is nothing to protect them from the dead Lynx and Joes. This is a fail with Irabet. I bloody knew it from the start. I wasn't expecting Len to succeed. I expected the Rigel to succeed and Len to fail. Len succeeded and Rigel didn't. But my first choice was definitely the best one with the Cleric. Social is the best option here and the safest bet. And Len. But you need Len in your team. Especially if we're gonna fight some stupid swarm boss. So... it's gonna be a fucking Cleric. Enter. Social. Scatter. Hold position and fight for the soldiers' lives. Standing, I want to read it again just in case that I mix something up. Standing in the middle of formation of soldiers, Social utters a prayer to Shaylin. From the outside, it would appear that the cloud of Vescavors will in a moment fall from the above and destroy their forces utterly. Hundreds of spawns of the abyss gnaw on bodies and armor, destroying as they consume. But the cleric's power flows forth in waves, healing the wounds of his comrades. As if understanding who is to blame for an unexpected resistance, the spawn covers Social like a living carpet. The servant of Shaylin trembles, but does not move or hold his prayers. Soldiers look on with awe as though they are witnessing a holy miracle. Temporary success. We don't know what happened to Social. We know Len survives 100%. But we don't know if Social survived this. But I'm gonna pick Social. It seems like it's the best option. And let's say we pick this team. Once you enter, there is no way back. Spots of light and shadow dance along the walls of the canyon. High above your head, a swarm gathers, dark as a rain cloud. So many Vescavors that they block out the sun. Luckily, you escape the attention of the swarm, which is focused upon the troops you're using as bait, for now at least. Commander, the best we've come for, is on the other end of the main corridor. A lot of barrows, and plenty of beasts. You better not delve too deep. Our people won't hold out long enough for us to clear the whole area. On the other hand, I saw the bodies of some poor caravaneers down one of the side halls. They have some valuable stuff on them. The bugs will eat anything we don't grab. They can't tell the difference between flesh and steel. So they're eating old treasure while we're standing around talking. What we're gonna hang around for? Come on, there's no time to lose. Did you manage to find out where this beast came from? There are clear signs of a ritual closer to the Queen's Bug's lair. And they're fresh. Someone's summoned the scum specially for us. The demon field figure out we're never gonna let Kenabres go. Too bad we don't have a magic specialist who could figure out what those runes mean. Really. Really. We do have it. It's Nenio. We need Nenio. We need fucking Nenio, man. She's got arcane knowledge. And world knowledge. So the final choice is Social. Defend the army. And we need Nenio. That's the final decision. Instead of Regiel. Hold position with Social. I believe Regil will be good, to be honest. I need to remove someone. Nothing I can do about it. What I'm a specialist, I'll get to the bottom of this, what happened. You need Nenio for this. I was right. Social behind, Nenio in.
Now we are making a mystery of ourselves.
I guess we got all the time in the world as long as we do not rest. Lepper smile. There's gonna be a freaking dungeon too, for sure.